Hi guys, so I just returned late last night from the dreamiest 2-week holiday in Italy, and I just was eating some of the most incredible food, super high quality, super fresh, but with the simplest techniques. You know, there is a way of living and a way of cooking and a way of celebrating quality ingredients in Italy that just carried me home with so much inspiration. I woke up at like 6 a.m. this morning because I'm completely jet lagged, but it worked to my benefit because all I could think about was developing a recipe that kind of celebrated everything that I was eating in Italy. I'm gonna take melon, I'm gonna take cucumber, something that's sweet and also something that's crunchy, and then with that olive oil that has that kind of like peppery and nuttiness to it and that grassiness, it's all gonna fuse together really beautifully. My background is Italian. I was just in Italy, so obviously I wanted to kind of take inspiration from Italy, but I also do love Mediterranean flavors. So I'm kind of like smashing and fusing those two ideas together, because with the melon and the cucumber, I'm also gonna mix together Aleppo pepper and sumac. Aleppo pepper is, a mild spicy pepper. It's a Mediterranean, like Middle Eastern spice. It's not as spicy as Italian red pepper flakes. It's actually a little bit more mild than that. And sumac is really kind of bright and zippy and acidic, kind of like citrusy notes. So the two of those together, I'm gonna mix. And then I'm gonna smash up some Marcona almonds, which is gonna really pull out those almond notes that are in the olive oil. Today is really about like simple, clean cooking, celebrating like premium, high quality olive oil, and celebrating like simple, clean flavors on your palate. And also something that's like bright and summery and refreshing. To me, if you are using like in-season, local, farm-fresh ingredients, everything's gonna taste that much more vibrant, that much more delicious. I'm also gonna use some ricotta salata, which again is kind of something that I was eating a lot of in Italy. So that's almost like salty and briny, and is also going to kind of pair beautifully with the sweetness of the melon. So I'm gonna get cooking. You guys follow along. Let me know what you think. So I have cantaloupe here. Start by cutting it just in half and getting rid of the pits. Getting the rind off is not the easiest. Cut the melon in half and then in half again. Now I'm just gonna kind of run a paring knife, getting as close to the rind as possible so you're not losing too much flesh. I'm trying to go as deep as I can so that the two sides meet. So you can use a mandolin. I don't like these slivers to be too thin, so I'm just gonna use a regular knife. I'm gonna use my nails as a kind of a guide because I want pretty consistent, maybe like a 1/4 inch thick slices of my melon. Set these aside, and then I'll move on to my cucumbers. I'm gonna kind of cut these cucumbers in almost like opposing triangular shapes. So I'm always thinking about visual interest when I'm cooking. I'm always thinking about color, I'm always thinking about shapes, and I'm always thinking about what's kind of in season, what's local, what's freshest. These are kind of the pillars of my cooking. Okay, so next up, I'm going to slice up red onion on a mandolin super thin. Let's make a really simple vinaigrette at this point. Okay, so I'm zesting 1 lime. Growing up, I would always eat melon and prosciutto with lime squeezed on it, so it just seemed like a good pairing for me. Juice of 1 lime, teeniest bit of honey to ever so slightly sweeten it, champagne vinegar. Then we're gonna add olive oil. This one is the organic. Just gonna do a slow kind of stream as I whisk so that it emulsifies. Some sea salt to really kind of bring out all the flavors. I have toasted up some Marcona almonds. I'm gonna do some of the Aleppo here, and then some of that kind of bright, acidic, zippy sumac. I'm gonna pour just a little bit of olive oil, just so that it kind of fuses everything together. A little bit of salt in there. And I wasn't planning on this, but I'm also gonna put a little bit of the zest from the lime. The final thing I'm gonna do is take some serrano chili. This you can totally edit. Okay, so I just went into my garden and I picked some fresh basil. I have opal basil here and classic Genovese green basil. I'm gonna finish this salad with an abundance of fresh herbs. I also have some fresh mint here, and This is actually flowering cilantro, which I love if you can find at the farmer's market or even growing in your garden. When herbs begin to flower, it happens a lot with thyme. It also happens with cilantro. Those little flowers are indeed edible, and they also make for beautiful presentation. Dress your salad before you put the herbs. I always think it's nicer to like finish with your herbs, and maybe even finish with like a fresh dusting of the sumac or the Aleppo pepper, even some fresh zest, some drizzle of olive oil, and flaky sea salt. Like, it's always nicer to kind of dress everything together, have it all infused with your flavors, but then have some sort of finishing element that elevates the presentation. I'm gonna compose the salad now, so we're at those finishing steps. All of my ingredients here prepared, and now I'm gonna compose the salad, kind of haphazardly placing melon on the plate. And I'm going to scatter the cucumber, and I'm not going to use very many of the red onions. I am going to take our vinaigrette and drizzle it over these components. All right, I'm going to give a little sprinkle of my Serrano chilies. Then I'm going to take this kind of medley of the almonds and the Aleppo. Again, just give it a haphazard sprinkle. And now I'm going to take some of the opal basil and our regular basil, and I'm just going to pick a couple of pretty delicate flowers, cilantro flowers, place them onto our salad. And then I also have some fresh mint here. So fusing those kind of Mediterranean flavors with the Middle Eastern is kind of at the cusp of this dish, as well as infusing kind of delicious, simple flavors with high quality ingredients. I'm gonna take the ricotta salata, and I'm gonna give a few shaves, and these little white bits are gonna be so pretty. I'm gonna finish with olive oil, sprinkle of salt, quick little zesting of our lime, and then black pepper to bring out those like finishing peppery notes. Super beautiful, so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to try it this summer.